story Liberation just have vastly different understandings of what Liberation is for.
I haven't seen this much importance and attention.
The story itself is really wonderful, really great setup.
Tractor beam has been engaged.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tractor Beam Comics Reviews, your one-stop shop for in-depth commentary and discussion on the Star Wars book that came out today. It is Wednesday, March 19th, 2025. It's the 12th week of comics in 2025. I'm Matthew, coming to you from Underworld North Studio in Toronto, and apparently, maybe that's Chris. Maybe he's coming to you from Underworld, New Jersey. How's it going, Chris? You doing all right? Camera issues? Doing okay there? All right. Well, we'll let him sort all that out. Are you still with us? Are you among us? Are you among us? I don't know. There we go. While he's sorting all that out, I'm gonna get to the plugs here. You can follow us mostly on Blue Sky at Iron Cannon Pod, also on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads Blue Sky at Iron Cannon. Mostly Twitter, Instagram, and then Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at Iron Cannon Pod, EYEONCNONPOD. And also you can follow Chris's stuff at youtube.com/StarRaptor and at StarRaptor on Twitter. We were fine before, but apparently things are conking out. That's the miracle of the internet, folks. How are you doing there? There we go. Keep getting the plugs out of the way, just as we sort out our technical difficulties. There we go. Are you good? Are you good? You're kind of good. You're kind of choppy. I don't know. That's okay. All right. Anyway, Chris, why don't you exit out and come back in? That might work. But anyways, in the meantime, keep going full steam ahead with the plugs. And then if I have to just fly solo, I will. It's how we have to do these things sometimes on the Tractor Beam Comics Reviews. You can follow already do the plugs out of the way. Also, if audio is more your speed, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Every time, whenever we're done this, done this episode, then I just throw it up to Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Look up Tractor Beam Comics Reviews, and it should be good. Chris, why don't you exit out and then come back in? That might help. Just putting that out there. I don't know. You seem okay now. Try talking. How are we doing? Nope. Okay. Can I mute? All right. Anyway, I'll keep going. Technical difficulties, everyone. It happens every now and then. Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you prefer audio, I think here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna see if I can remove from stage. There we go. Just until you'll let me know when you're good to go. That's not the right setting, Matthew. There we go. We'll figure this out. There we go. That's what I want to do. So send me a message, Chris, when you're good to go. I guess I didn't have the cover prepared, so I'll just talk at the screen when it's time to talk about the comic book. But for the time being, let's keep going with the plugs. Last but not least, we are proudly part of the Star Wars Underworld podcast network. You can follow us here on the YouTube channel. I should say I'm kind of discombobulated with the technical difficulties, but we'll get there. Part of the Star Wars Underworld podcast network, and here on the Star Wars Underworld YouTube channel, we have YouTube memberships and we have super chats. So if you chat with us normally, comment with us normally, then we'll get your comment as best we can. If you super chat us, like we had a generous super chat on Monday, and I'll get to Monday in a second. We'll get you your comment immediately, and we're grateful for any financial support you are able and willing to provide to the channel and to the network. Of course, follow us across the network, the Star Wars Underworld Podcast Network. Okay, I think it's the Chris technical difficulties there. Okay. That's interesting. Anyway, so I'll keep powering through. Show must go on. He'll pop in when he can. So where was I talking about? The Star Wars Underworld Podcast Network on this past Monday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Joel Davis and I talked all on the Iron Cannon podcast, talked about fandom. tomorrow night on the Star Wars Underworld podcast, breaking down the latest news and commentary on all over the Star Wars galaxy, mostly focused on screen news and film news. So please do check that out. That goes Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And yeah, it's all the way across the network. Hopefully, let's see how we're doing, how we're looking. How we're doing? Just need to unmute yourself on the screen.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. That was a complete lockdown. My computer seemed to have like some kind of breakdown because I could not even X out. Like I couldn't see the cursor. It was frozen so bad. This is what happens when you put out an update on your graphics card, I guess, and maybe they need to do a patch because this seems like a pretty bad problem. But hey, I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to actually speak, trying to save you. So
fine.
What I was gonna say, when I heard the great intro that we have, something about what is it, to prepare the tractor beam?
Yeah, the tractor beam is being engaged, which is from Andor. Yeah.
I heard that line today, and I forgot it was from this intro because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, the delivery of that line, I hear it all the time. I don't know if it's from the Star Wars Underworld's introduction on their podcast. Nope. And it dawned on me as I'm sitting here listening, like, oh, it's from our show. It's the Cantwell class. What is it called? The aggressor or something like that. Aggregator cruiser that's gonna lock on to the Fondor. I watched 5 episodes of Andor from the Arkina 5 arc straight through until about 9:30 this morning. I was up really early, and I was like, let me just finish off the whole series. I'm getting pumped. It's about almost a month away from season 2, and man, that was a good experience, a good prep, because I'm going to be doing that basically every Tuesday night for 4 weeks, watching 3 episodes in a row. So.
We're just over a month away from Lucasfilm Star Wars potential moment in culture. We'll see what happens. See how far they go. This Gorman massacre, etc. How's it going, Chris? Good to see you.
Yeah, it's going pretty well. I'm hanging out, trying to dodge these technical difficulties, preparing to be in the Far East in about 2.5 weeks time, so still finishing up buying train tickets and the like. So it's a good fun countdown coming up, but I know you got a countdown coming up for perhaps maybe San Diego at the later part of this year, so that'll be cool.
Yeah, we'll definitely San Diego in July. Probably not New York Comic Con's probably not on the cards, even though I'm wearing the t-shirt right now, but we'll see. You never know. But yeah, it's coming up to that time. We're a month away from Celebration as well. So this month on April 19th, you guys will be right halfway through it. So there we go. Celebration Japan 2025. It's coming up. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the show. First off, lastly, I guess to get the plugs. One thing I forgot about the plugs is the Discord server, Star Wars Underworld Discord server. Down in the description below, you get a minty fresh link into the server. We're talking about Star Wars, talking about Andor, talking about Marvel, talking about folks doing celebration prep and all the different plans and learning Japanese and different things. Coming in the water's fine. They do movie nights. They watched 3 episodes from Rebels to get you prepped for Andor. It was the Secret Cargo and In the Name of the Rebellion parts 1 and 2. So some stellar action there. So check that out in the description below. And the water's fine. Great community they've got going on over there. Alrighty, I think we can get into. There's one comic book that came out this week, came out today, and it's High Republic Adventures number 16. We're going back to Eriadu. It's written by Daniel Jose Older, art by Tony Bruno, colors by Michael Attier, letters by friend of the show Comicraft's Tyler Smith, as well as Jimmy Betancourt, and cover by the Harvey and Kevin Tolibao brothers. The Battle of Eriadu rages on as shocking developments continue to shift the tide of the conflict. Nile victory seems all but assured, thanks to their overwhelming forces and savage tactics. But will the unexpected arrival of a powerful combatant dash their evil ambitions? The Warden won't give up easily, and he will do anything to defeat the Jedi. Dun, 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 dun. This one really, like I mentioned this in the description, really raised the stakes. You really feel the tension, feel this imminent victory for the Nile, in part because of the Warden's unscrupulous nature. He just knows no bounds. Beware strange bedfellows, Val de Vardis. Very much reminiscent of Lando, right? This deal keeps getting worse all the time. He thinks the Warden's gonna set him up on Eriadu, and turns out no, the Warden's just up ready to wipe out everyone, everything, including other Nile forces, and that really gives a sense of imminent defeat. I'll just go through all my thoughts, and then I'll let you go through all your thoughts, and then we'll go back and forth a little bit. It was another thing to heighten the tension with is Farzala's vision. It's still, we start off with it, and we finished off last issue thinking we get the reveal. We still don't get that reveal of who is in this vision, and maybe that's not the most important thing for him. It's more that in the middle of this fog of war, he's having this vision, and maybe he's finding himself. Maybe it's kind of like Rey, where she has to find herself in that. And so, Farzala is continuing to mature as a full Jedi Knight. Sevran, call Master Farzala, come in, right? Master Farzala, as in what Muggles, lay people call knights. Master. He's not a master yet. But on that note with Sevran, I was really impressed with her really taking command. She's the guy in the chair a little bit. Both, there's a moment where she's stressed and anxious and trying to, okay, what do I got to do? It's my time to step up. But at another point, she's telling Farzala, I think, to go up to the that cannon. She's also just leaning back, like, okay, I'm plotting and figuring it out. And so again, I was impressed with her. And then she's calling the shots, and then when she's the one who needs to jump in and cause a distraction, she jumps in and causes the distraction. She's the one that creature that she hunted and tamed, that her descendant is gonna, the thing on the carrion spike, that her esteemed descendant is gonna brutally hunt down and kill. She's using it. She's tamed it almost the Obi-Wan style in Revenge of the Sith, right? Bursting in there. Just thinking about Sevran, it's interesting, given that we see a Tarkin taking command, taking the lead. It's going to run in the family. Again, and Wilf is going to be this great evil power, Grand Moff, Governor of the Outer Rim. But this leadership capabilities here on the good side it's very interesting. It's different. One last thing I'll say, I was a bit confused about who's going where, where the bunkers are, where the cannon is, as in not the cannon, two ends, Matthew. This book is canon. Star Wars canon, as in that anti-aircraft, anti-space cannon that Farzala is going up to and encounters the Nile, who already captured it. That was a little confusing, but overall I thought it was pretty exciting issue, pretty interesting different art style from these Harapulka adventures tend to be a bit more of a stylized style, for lack of a better term, and that's pretty fascinating. Another kind of confusing thing, though, and I think, Chris, you'll want to talk to this, is that reveal at the end. I'll let you get into it when it's your turn, but was a little interesting to put this in an all ages comic book. I'll say that. So I do have maybe a bit more to say, but I'll let you jump in. What were your thoughts on High Republic Adventures 16?
Yeah, this was very Lord of the Rings-esque, epic in scale. And I said that for the last one. It was like, oh yeah, the Battle of Pelennor Fields. They rolled up with the those creatures that were almost like Mumakil or AT-ATs running around the streets of Eriadu City. So yeah, it was cool because it's like epic. Like we're seeing. Oh man, as I see the character looking at the art right now, I forget her name, but she was the main pirate Jedi wannabe character in phase 2, the alien green skin.
She's a master in this one, right?
Yeah, she's wielding a double blade lightsaber. I just wanted to point that out. She's pretty badass. She's the one that's on Takodana Temple. I know all the
Sav
details.
Maligan.
There we go. Sav Maligan wielding a double bladed green lightsaber. You love to see it. Awesome stuff there. I do want to mention about Sevran Tarkin. I think great, cool character, non-force sensitive. And I love getting those non-force sensitives in a majority Jedi Force kind of era of Star Wars and learning about them just same way we learn about Joss and Pick Adrian, these normal people trying to do right by the people. And, we had a lot of time that we built up on the Tarkins, and are they allied with the Nile? Are they allied with the Republic? What are they going to do? And just to see them fully embracing the Republic and seeing even the crazy uncle going into the fray and just like saving people was really it was well worth it. It was a good payoff. This whole arc has been nothing but a good payoff. And stuff of Farzala, like you mentioned with the visions that coming to the fray right in the beginning there, seeing him go out there. But what I'll say is like this felt like a very much like a downtrodden, down and out kind of storyline where it's like fighting for a lost cause. They're doing their best, but as you said, they're being overwhelmed by numbers, everything with General Vice about the carpet bomb the heck out of these things. And you have Commander Tarkin saying, oh, we got to get our people over here because their outpost got retaken, and then Emmer Kaftor is over there from a Trail of Shadows Marvel. It's really cool just seeing like the Avengers-esque version of all these different characters coming out, helping out. And then the big moment at the end, where I'm reading this thing going, oh yeah, like this is cool. There's supposed to be a big character showing up at some point. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be the entire Republic fleet. Like, wait, the storm wall's down, and my reaction was, huh? Like, I wanted to be in that moment. I really wanted to be like, this is the Gandalf moment from Two Towers as he shows up with the Rohirrim to take down the Uruk-hai and Saruman's forces at Helm's Deep, and it didn't quite reach it there because, like, in the back of my brain, I'm going, okay, is this comic out too fast? Like, did they mess up the release order? Because, as you said, like, I would have expected a massive hinging moments like this to be in either a YA or the main novel for Trials of the Jedi, because not everybody's reading this issue. So is this supposed to, it was just weird how it happened so quickly without even any semblance of anything that's happening. That's where it threw me for a loop. But I don't know if that's going to be the same reaction that everybody's going to have reading this, because not everybody is involved with it as much as you and I with every single thing, reading it in chronological order the moment it comes out. So it's cool that we get to see this now. It's not a clear victory because all of a sudden they're like, oh well, we could just all Nile forces. We're going to buy Frank City and we're going to just detonate this bomb, which is almost like a nuclear effect in a way to a thermal oscillator thing, or just like completely melts down both cities. So that was interesting there. What I will say is there wasn't a whole lot of character depth or kind of development at all for much, other than maybe like a little bit with Sevran Tarkin. But again, I got to give it credit because we are in, this is number 16 out of 20. So, and that's already on top of phase 2, on top of phase 1, where we've already been building these characters. So it's not like we really need a whole lot of character development right now. It is fun to have issues like this where you can just dive in. It's like, okay, the backstory is done. let's just play with our toys and just see them destroy each other kind of thing. That's what I felt like, but there was more meaning to it than just a pointless battle. There was a lot of, like you said, stakes in here. Anybody could die at any moment. Court, he's out there somewhere and doing whatever. And, these people were about to die and the Republic came in. So very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, it's the big climactic action piece. And so, yeah, it's the third act. We're into the third act of High Republic, right? We're into the third act of this comic book. So yeah, I didn't even think about character development as much at all, because again, I'm so focused on just the battle. And the thing that makes it so, just thinking about this whole arc, the thing that makes it feel so big is the use of different fronts and different locations, right? The two different cities, and the Arco Royale underground with Yaddle, and I think that's where Court is. Which turns out it's going to be key. It's going to be, that's the thing that Nile are going to target, like you mentioned. Kind of just to take everything out and not worry about the collateral damage. Like you mentioned, General Vice. She's one of the big three of Markian Row, right? She's one of Markian's big three in this phase, at least. Her appearance, and it's well timed because it really brings it to a head. We know there's one more issue in this arc, and then there's the one shot, or it's the other way around. So there's 2 more comic books to deal with the Battle of Eriadu. Yeah, it's definitely this climax to what this chunk of story. Yeah, you think the Stormwall, would at least be in Into the Light or something. I'm very kind of curious. It almost to say, it might be kind of like, how some films can do things, give away the ending, so that the more interesting thing is to say how we got there. Here's the ending, here's how we got there. That might be the strategy for Team Loomis in this point. I don't quite know, but yeah, it's also a good point too that folks are probably going to read this after Into the Light comes out as part of a collected edition, and then it'll hit more, be more impactful. So yeah, and then they come to save the day, the long beams. Yeah, it's definitely trying to be that Gandalf moment. Yeah, to see. I mean, it is, except that it's an all ages comic, and so they didn't necessarily need that Gandalf moment. I almost would have liked it if the characters themselves were able to figure it out, and maybe they still will. Primarily, I do like just thinking about Sevran, and just thinking about the general context. Here's a civilian who's leading the fight. I mean, I can't not think about Williff and Anakin in the end of the Clone Wars, saying, "Oh yeah, the influence of the Jedi. They don't need to be everywhere, and they don't need to be calling the shots everywhere. There are other groups." Now, of course, Williff was thinking about that's a lead up to Order 66, but in this era, it's more benign. It's I mean, I guess it's this is in this time period. Senator Tiatoon, or that's his name, who says, "Yeah, Jedi are great, but local planetary leaders know their space better." And Sevran clearly knows what she's doing, and she's trained to raised to lead Eriadu, right? That time in the Nile prison and the Warden's prison with the Jedi. So the experience of collaborating with the Jedi, but it's fascinating just how naturally they take her lead, and she is able to be responsible and checks in with the team. It's good leadership skills, right? Checking in with the team. How are they doing? By calling the shots.
Well, I mean, she is the leader of the planet, I guess, technically, right? Because
this point,
she's, and then there's interesting context here going between the jailer guy and the warden. The warden, and there's one of the other Tarkin leaders.
Yeah, the other area, Valdevardis, is a different house.
Yeah, and he's all like, I don't think we should be doing this. Like he's having second doubts. Like obviously they're his people too, but he didn't think he would be like in this deep into the confrontation here. And now it's like, oh, it's a little too late, man. Like you're gonna have to devote your forces whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And it's too late now, kind of thing. So it's interesting to see the kind of the reluctance and the kind of like, oh crap, I'm in too deep with that character there. Because it's interesting. It's not just it's just not like a black and white. Like they're part of their people are still on the other side, So it's interesting there. Again, that little difference.
Yeah, the warden is altering the deal, and Devarda should pray he doesn't alter it any further. Because I mean, he's willing to the warden and General Vice willing to kill all the Nile who are in there too. Just and it's what'll be left. Is it worth decimating? I mean, that's the Nile MO, is to say it doesn't matter if we decimate their forces, or it doesn't matter if we don't have any land or territory to actually, or infrastructure to actually take over. It's about destruction. I mean, I do wonder, knowing what DJO's real world political focus is these days, I think he's probably like, yeah, then I want to make beachfront property on Eriadu. That'll be my guess. That'll be my guess is what he respond. But yeah, maybe that part of it, but also just this wanton destruction that the Nile, that is consistent with everything we've known about them. So yeah, interesting. We're focusing on them a lot because it is striking with the warden being so unscrupulous.
I thought, honestly, by this late in the game, and granted, we have more issues, but I thought this run was going to be a little bit more focused on him because that first issue, I called to our attention, like, oh, he looks like to be a Zygerian. And we had that flashback with him and General Vice a couple months ago, and nothing's really come out of it, honestly. He still feels just as mustache trilly as ever. And I was hoping by this point he would have a little bit more layers to him other than just kill everything all the time now. Like that's basically the persona I'm getting from him. But I suppose there still is time. I'm waiting for some big moment with him because right now he's just so like cookie cutter villain right now for me.
It's a good question. I mean, so he's same species as General Grievous, it turns out, right?
But he is.
I think so. I think that's what the implication. The warden.
Oh, the warden. This is what I mean. Like I seriously think he is a Zygerian that got the form.
Maybe. Okay, maybe he's a Zygerian. I don't know. I forget. What I do remember is he impresses Vice with his ruthlessness.
Yeah.
Brutality in emerging from incredibly brutal set of circumstances. And so if anything, I found his willingness to just carpet bomb everything and scorch Eriadu, to be consistent with that he's still impressing General Vice by being this and just handing her the planet on a silver platter. But yeah, maybe it'd be interesting if there are more layers to him.
Yeah, I'm looking for a little cool detail. I'm looking at a cool detail right now. Lula Tausala and Zemarala both fighting with, it appears, vibro swords or vibro weapons of some degree.
Lula was still using her lightsaber.
Is she?
It looked like maybe, I don't know. I know Zeen's got a vibro sword.
Zeen's got a vibro sword. Yeah. Okay. I'm zooming in here.
Yeah.
Live on the podcast.
That's right. The PDF.
Whatever. I did not get a chance to go to the local store to pick up the comics today, unfortunately. But I definitely want to pick it up for the last shot, or one of the last shots of the fleet coming in, because I feel like that double page splash page is going to look really good with a physical book. You got a a couple vectors. I don't even know what kind of capital ship that is.
Looks like a long beam, right?
Well, there is a long beam.
There's a long beam,
but that middle ship, it's like a Star Destroyer-esque with like TIE fighter wings. I don't know if that's like a new class of like Republic ship or if it's like a unique one of a kind ship, because you have like the Jedi, they have their own cruiser, then there is like a bigger Republic Defense Coalition fleet ship, and then in the Seeds of Starlight and Haunted Starlight, they have that science ship that they rescue from the depths of what is it called? Irona and whatever the other one is.
Oh yeah, I guess there's this other thing. Yeah, it's true. Interesting.
Anyway, I digress.
I've barely started the second audiobook. So I'm behind on that one. I got to do that.
It's all right, because now we're both behind on another High Republic thing, because apparently the Young Jedi Adventures came out today, and there's like connections to DJO's like phase 1. So I'm going,
okay.
Oh, now I gotta watch that. I was on the fence about watching it, but now I'm gonna have to comb through I've watched the first half of season 2.
Nice.
Very minimal connections. I think there might be like one connection, but I watch them for the connections. All right, guys, so I can keep you guys updated.
I watch them to expose my nieces to Star Wars. That's what I do.
Yeah. For me, I'm not getting much out of it, but that's okay because it's not meant to be for me.
No, that's true. All right. Any last thoughts on HRA 16?
My last thoughts are, what's next? Is that going to be the special? I think maybe?
I believe,
because I know that's coming out in April, but I don't know.
Yeah, I believe the
17's out first, or that'll be out first. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they're both. It's the Battle of Eriadu one shot and issue 17, which is the Battle of Eriadu, is 14 to 17. So yeah, maybe we'll see. I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe my guess is the one shot is this final push in the battle with the Republic fleet, and then 17 is the aftermath. That'd be my guess.
Could be. Either way, that'll bring us to May.
Yeah, we'll see. It's good to know that this run is going all the way till the end of phase 3. Yeah. So 5 more issues after this. I can do math. There you go. Alrighty, move right along. A bit of news to talk about. The Pacific Coast Party. Joel and I touched on this on Monday. Bringing up again, the schedule is out for Star Wars Celebration Japan 2025. I call it Pacific Coast Party because Chiba is on the Pacific Coast of Japan. That just happens to be the East Coast. It's a bit of a fun geography joke for you.
There you go. Yeah.
There we go. So yeah, the publishing panel. So this is for most important for our purposes here on the Tractor Beam. Lucasfilm publishing panel. There's also a manga panel, but I haven't quite looked at that one yet. Lucasfilm publishing panel. It's Friday, April 18th, which is 2 p.m. local time, which is 1 a.m. Eastern time on Friday, April 18th. So stay up, or try and find it in the live stream. There we go. And yeah, so we got the description here. Join us in Japan for the latest publishing news from the prequel trilogy to the sequel trilogy and beyond, including news of the grand finale of the High Republic with Adam Christopher, Tessa Gratton, Mark Guggenheim, Lydia Kang, Ethan Sachs, Phil Sostak, Lissa Wong, and Marvel's CB Cebulski. And so you can pick out Mark Guggenheim, Ethan Sachs, Alyssa Wong, and CB Cebulski, all on there. I also know the guy who wrote Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire. He's going to be on there too. But for comics purposes, I mean, I can guess Mark is going to talk about Jedi Knights. Ethan's going to talk about his Poe Dameron comic. Would be my guess. Curious to see what Alyssa is up to. Is that a novel, or is that a new comic book? The Dr. Aphra run is
good call. I bet you she's announcing Dr. Aphra.
I hope so, because their Aphra run, Alyssa's Aphra run is so fantastic. So, I mean, again, they did a lot. They did a whole run. But
I remember, because in the announcement of the new wave of the Star Wars comics post Return of the Jedi, that article does cite that there's going to be other like series that are going to be attached to it.
Yeah. So,
and I mean, Alyssa's been the mainstay for this character, and if they're on the panel, that's probably what are they going to talk about? A High Republic story that's already out? Like, I mean, they've done that before. I wouldn't put it past them, because they've done that. It's at New York Comic Con, where half the panel, I don't think you were in this panel, but I was going, oh yeah, that's already been out for like a month ago. What's going on here? Like, why are we talking about stuff that's already out? Like, come on. So I mean, it could be just to promote the one shot for the Battle of Eriadu, which will maybe be out the same weekend, which, you know, it's not going to be too far off. So they might want to, because they do mention they're going to be talking about that grand finale of the High Republic.
Yeah.
Tessa Grattan will not have anything current, so I'm guessing
is that the Acolyte?
Oh, yep, there we go. Novel? Yep, that's another one. She'll be talking about that book because that'll be out that weekend or close to. So we could just like, I know for a fact, and here we go. I know for certainty, Adam Christopher has not had anything announced, so he's going to probably be announcing a new novel.
That's a good guess. Yeah.
And if it's anything like Shadow of the Sith, oh man, it's going to be my novel of the year. So it's the more Sith adjacent things, but although Alexander Freed is going to be hard to beat with Mask of Fear.
Mask of Fear is my
hard to beat that one because it's not, you know, it's not just a good Star Wars book, it's a good book, as our friend Dominic Jones also said on his blog there, hot off the press. So what's cool though is knowing that Mark Guggenheim's going to make it out there, because I know me and you were talking to him at New York Comic Con. He was uncertain that if he's going to be able to swing the trip. So and good old Ethan Sachs, who was on my panel at the previous celebration with our Bounty Hunter panel. So I'm like, yeah, we get to see these guys again. So I'll be high-fiving them across the way. Hey, look who shows up, me.
There we go. On that note, so Hyperspace Stories Codebreaker #1, that's Ethan's Podameron book. That'll be 4-issue comic. I mean, that'll be the issue #1 will be out a week and a half before. That comes out April 9th. So talking about that again. I'm really curious to what, I mean, on the book side, what Adam Christopher's got, and what on the comic side, or whatever Alyssa's doing. And then, I mean, I've never seen CB Cebulski in a Star Wars panel, right? He's the
he was at Celebration London though.
Oh, it was Celebration London. Okay, I wasn't there though. Because he's the, oh my goodness, why am I blanking on the publishing guy, the version
Michael Seglain.
He's like the Michael Seglain of Marvel Star Wars. So
it's interesting because every other celebration and like even like New York Comic Con, they'll have the High Republic panel. But I guess since things are winding down at this point, like a month away by the time this is out, that it's like, all right, we could just talk about this here.
Sure.
I don't think there's now that we have this panel, I don't think there's a chance that we get like the next initiative announced here.
No,
I think they're just going to shine the light on High Republic.
They need to take a break.
Maybe one new novel, whatever, and then they're going to go dark on that for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe San Diego though. I mean, I can't imagine them having much to promote there. Although you might be in luck again to have that great panel that me and Dominic and Chris and Ben sat through last July, because we know we're getting a Star Wars game announcement panel at the celebration. So my guess would be, if that game comes out this year, you guys are probably going to get not publishing, but like the whole big Star Wars panel. We're going to talk games, we're going to talk books, we're going to talk movies, comics.
Better not be on a Saturday, because I'm not in on the Saturday.
They usually have it on like the first day. Like they don't. The panels. I was only there Thursday, Sunday, so it was on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Hopefully for your sake, because I got to get the inside source. You're gonna have to tell me everything. and unfortunately for our audience, I don't think I'm gonna be able to attend the publishing for the stories for Galaxy Far Far Away, because looking at this, guys, it's gonna be too close to call, because I'm sorry, I'm not going to miss the Lucasfilm anniversary 20th when they're announcing a new show.
Lucasfilm Animation,
it's at 3:30. I don't even know how far away, because the Lucasfilm, I can maybe go in for 30 minutes and sneak out, because I need to be in that line like a good hour beforehand, because everybody in that building is going to be waiting in line for that one.
Yeah.
And they don't have any kind of lottery thing for this one either. So it's like if you don't get lucky enough to get in line early enough, you're screwed. And oh, wait a minute.
Something news?
There is something
Breaking?
interesting about this.
Okay.
Now, hopefully they don't clear the stage, because if they don't, it literally says it's being okay. So the publishing panel is happening for those of you that are going on the Galaxy stage, which is probably going to be the second largest stage of Celebration. But the Celebration stuff, such as the animation, is being on the Celebration, the big stage, but it's also being streamed to the Galaxy stage.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if I could pull a fast one and just stay in my seat and not get kicked
Especially
out.
if it's being streamed. If it's just the stream, right?
Yeah.
Then that shouldn't be a big deal.
So I actually might be able to pull it off. Of course, I want to be in the room, but if I have the luxury of just sitting there, then I might. And if they show me footage, you don't know, because sometimes they show you a trailer, then they black it out the stream stage. I think I'm not.
I don't know. I know if they do it on YouTube, they'll black it out, but maybe on like in the building. I don't know. I don't know what they did in Anaheim, because I never worried. I didn't do in Anaheim. I didn't do any kind of the remote. I got into the main stage. So we'll see. It's a good question. Again, I'm wondering, what Alyssa Seasoul School is. Well, yeah, for the big next initiative, this is what my thinking is. They might do something similar to they did with Chicago, with what is Project Luminous in Chicago, and then, I mean, in January, before COVID really hit, January 2020, they did this YouTube thing. I'm hoping they do something, little tease like that, and then Star Wars Celebration Anaheim 2027. I'm calling it now. They do a full reveal.
They teased the heck out of Project Luminous. I remember for like months, like every convention I would go to, they would Michael Seglain would hit the tab and say Project Luminous is coming or something. And it happened at 2 or 3 conventions where everybody was just like, can you just tell us what it is already? And then they did this influencer event, but it wasn't live streamed. So I was just following a bunch of influencers live tweets of the event with pictures and stuff. And it was a very odd reveal, because I'm going, they could have just streamed this darn thing.
Didn't they stream it? I remember watching something.
Okay.
I remember watching something. I could be wrong, but in general, but they probably, I mean, it's odd, because we're just talking about this at dinner after Toronto Comic-Con on Sunday. I think it's kind of odd that they could have planned at least to have it at Anaheim 2020. But then, I mean, COVID took that out. So then do you do the YouTube live stream for this one? I want them to tease something, probably Old Republic or whatever. But just to tease something doesn't actually tell us anything.
Well, they could do that. They could do what Michael Seglain did in the last couple
in Japan.
The last slide. So, but what's next?
That kind of
here you guys go. One slide. You don't have to explain anything. We know something's coming, and even give us a date, maybe say 2026.
Or what I'm saying, that time frame, right? It was 2019 to 2020. I'm saying have a little tease in Japan that doesn't give us anything definitive. Repeat the tease in San Diego, repeat the tease in New York. But then and repeat the tease wherever. Like they did.
Too many.
But then and have a whole page on StarWars.com dedicated to it. But then have in Anaheim 2027, have a whole panel, the next big initiative.
Yeah, so you're thinking we're not gonna have Celebration next year at all? You're thinking?
No, I mean, and we shouldn't. I mean,
but there's a new movie, man. Think about it. They could literally premiere the movie at a Celebration.
This is the Mandalorian Grogu. I mean, but they do every 2 years, right?
No.
They'll be 23 next year.
Remember in the hotness of the Disney era when it first came in to be, I think they were having Celebration every year for 3 or 4 years straight.
They were. And also there hasn't been one in North America since 2022. That's true too. But I don't know. That's I mean, 50 years of New Hope. and to come and 10 years of Last Jedi, but 50 years of New Hope, come back to Anaheim.
I do get what you mean. I think they should wait another year, but then I'm also thinking, like you said, like the poor Americans and people in the Western Hemisphere have not seen a celebration since 2023. So if it doesn't happen in 2022.
2022, yeah.
So they're already waiting 4 years. Are they going to have to wait another year
I think
after
they
that?
might. And also to say, frankly, I mean, I love the High Republic. It's my favorite thing in Star Wars. I keep saying that. I'd be good with a 2-year break of not knowing what's happening.
Yeah, you know what? It has been a lot to keep up with, and it won't be that bad for my wallet to save a few bucks every couple months for all that. But I think this will be telling. I think this publishing panel will be telling for the rest of 2025 what we might be getting. We get the Bad Batch book. After that, really not sure what else we're getting. I don't think we know anything about what we're getting after the Bad Batch book.
As in the Bad Batch novel, that's right.
Like any novels. I'm talking, we know comics are going to be great, but for novels and like trilogies, we know we're getting out another Reign of the Empire book at some point
next year.
Oh, we have to wait that long, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be next year and then the year after. But
so they're really drawing that out, because that's what I liked about the Thrawn stuff is like they were pumping them out, the Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy, and it was quality stuff too. It wasn't even like it's not like it was rushed. It was like boom, 6 months, another 6 months, and then 3 months later it's all done. Like, all right, cool.
I think I'm okay with them spreading it out, but giving me time to catch up, because it takes me a long time to read these things. That's part of it. I'll be good with a break in a publishing initiative. They should, right? They don't want
they should, because it's gonna get the effect of people going, oh, they're just burning through our wallets with this stuff, like give it time to breathe, give it time to be like, oh, we missed this connectivity. After 2 years, I'm ready to jump back in, rather than, oh, I've been exhausted keeping up with this stuff and I gotta keep going, so let's do that. Let's just do maybe one other book trilogy somewhere in the mix between this and the next one.
I mean, there'll be things to tie us over for sure. Pacific Coast Party 2025, we're a month away. I will keep as close an eye on it as I can. Chris, you and Dom and them are gonna keep an even closer eye. I know that. And Hannah, whoever else is there. Looking forward to everything you guys talk about. Well, definitely the week after, we're definitely going to devote a what the celebration like. Tell me all about it. Tell me.
Everything.
There we go. But comics, go on ahead, moving on ahead. Next week we have 2 comic books coming out. Still the High Republic, Fear of the Jedi, number 2, and then all the way to the end of the timeline, Rise of Skywalker, number 2.
That's cool.
Coming out. So these 2, which are you looking forward to?
Fear of the Jedi 2.
Yeah.
Although I'm really looking forward to Tyros 2, because I really enjoyed the first issue. That was really some great artwork, really great artwork, really great explorations into the movies, into Rey as a character, into Rose getting deleted scenes and all that kind of fun stuff.
Both books off to a good start. If again, like I just said, High Republic's my favorite thing in Star Wars, so definitely Fear of the Jedi. Continuing the Kevin Lorna show. Kevin Lorna show. We just whenever there's a Keeve show, we just rebrand. We're the Kevin Lorna show. There we go. See it. Go to your local comic book shop for that. Digital, it's on digital, but go to your local comic book shop and get those books. Also, I'm definitely going to get back on the Insider train. I will get caught up with those as well. Fear not. That is underway. So probably either might actually throw that in next week or the week after. We'll see. We'll sort out what we're doing when you're in Japan. We'll figure that out. But there we go. Yes. Until then, great show, Chris. As always, getting just to the 50-minute mark here. Thanks for chiming in, joining in.
Wait.
You have one more thing to say?
I thought you were going to talk about Toronto Comic-Con.
Oh yeah, Toronto Comic-Con. I mean, there wasn't much to say about Toronto Comic-Con. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. I mentioned a bit more on Monday. Yeah, it was good. It was fun. Dave Dorman, who did the covers for Dark Empire, the Dark Empire comics in the 90s. He was there. He did a panel. I wasn't able to go to that. It was on the Friday. I was working, but we stopped by his table there in Comic Alley. He had a table there. Signed all 6 issues of my buddy's comic. He picked it up. He picked up a set of Dark Empire 1 to 6. And Dom also got a book signed. So yeah, it was pretty good. And the first editions with a nice glossy. So yeah, it was neat just to see, to remember, these legend stories, they're still here, still with us. They haven't gone anywhere. And so yeah, good to see him show up. He came all the way from Florida. So that was cool. Also Manny Jacinto talking about the action. I know it's not comics focused, that's why I buried the lead, but yeah, Manny Jacinto was there. No peeps or anything about Acolyte Season 2 except that or anything except to say that there's the online discourse and everything, but whenever he goes to a con, he feels the love for the Acolyte. He always gets that. So
yeah, it's a shame that an officially sanctioned Lucasfilm event can't even acknowledge your own show at all for the whole 3 days. It's and Skeleton Crew getting the freaking axe, man. I'm like, you guys can't have a little panel with a couple like casts at all. We know Manny's gonna be there. Like, give him just like a one-man show spotlight panel like Oscar Isaac, but nope, you're gonna just bury it under the rug. Like, terrible.
Yeah, who knows? That's fascinating. Yeah, there's some interesting thoughts about the celebration schedule, but anyway, it was good to see Manny from Vancouver, so he was back in Canada. He talked about The Good Place, of course, talked about his other projects. Talking about the action in the Acolyte, how his training regimen was something, Chris, you'd be impressed by. There's a lot of cardio, a lot of like food science, medical science, a lot of
really? I would love to hear this, actually.
He didn't go into too much detail, but that he had like food scientists, nutritionists helping him because he did all his own stunts. And then which is impressive, right? Like, because that action in that show was one of the best.
Especially that last episode. Oh my gosh, him and what's his name, Soul fighting. That's like so good.
And then with talking about the lightsaber, the character as a character, he was going to play dirty, right? He's going to modeled after the drunken master tradition, like those theories about Jar Jar. This one, Chimera definitely, or the Stranger, modeled after the drunken master tradition, where kind of goofy and silly, like his character in The Good Place a little bit, but then snaps into very disciplined, dark, dirty character. So that's why his lightsaber has this extra blade that comes out. So yeah, it was a good panel. It was the only panel I really cared to go to. It was definitely a smaller con. Toronto Comic Con's always smaller, but it was a fun time. My own panel went well. Taylor Swift on screen with friend of the show Ash, or friend of Iron Cannon Ash. So yeah, it was good. Hopefully that'll be on YouTube soon somewhere. I'll let people know. But yeah, Toronto Comic Con. I thought it was successful. Good kickoff to the con season 2025, and looking forward to San Diego, and of course everything I hear back from Star Wars Celebration Japan. So yeah, there you go. But yeah, that does it for the Tractor Beam Comics Reviews. Chris, thanks again for jumping in, for reminding me to talk about Toronto Comic Con. There we go. Thanks to Informa and them. Where can they find you on the internet? What are you getting up to?
Yeah, when my computer isn't freezing and whatnot, you can find me on YouTube talking Star Wars, video games, and more. We also have a weekly podcast at our transmission. We were back this week. We were talking actually we were talking about the unfortunate news of Star Wars Hunters being shut down in October upcoming. So talking about that, talking about the gaming industry, That was about it on this week's show. This or last week's show. This upcoming week, we're going to do a Andor deep dive. I just got caught up on season 1 after the second or third time, so going to talk a little bit about promotion, getting into that, and yeah, we're going to have a whole another episode dedicated to Celebration the following week before I head out there. So a lot to look forward to, a lot to preview, and then there's going to be just as much to talk about when I get back, talking about Celebration, talking about episode reviews of Andor every week. It's going to be madness for a month straight there, but you can follow us over there on youtube.com/StarRaptor and twitter.com/StarRaptor. So there we go.
Yep, there we go. You can follow me, my personal Instagram threads, MNEUG1138, Instagram beaches.foodie. I need to post something. I forgot about that. There we go. On Twitter, NEUG485. Also, Blue Sky, MNEUG1138. On the Ion Cannon podcast on this past Monday, as mentioned off the top, we talked about fandom. What is fandom? What are the different factions in Star Wars fandom? And different questions that raises. And then this coming Monday, we're talking about villains and what they represent. Villains in Star Wars. Different kind of archetypes and motivations and things like that. So check that out right here on the Underworld YouTube channel and Facebook and Twitch and Ion Cannon Twitch this Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, and then again, keep an eye out for the Queen on screen, Taylor Swift on screen. It won't be on the Underworld channel; it'll be on a different channel. But keep an eye on for where that will be. Yeah, of course, follow us. The Ion Cannon podcast, Ion Cannon on Blue Sky primarily. Check that out. But yeah, and then next week, got this up again. Fear of the Jedi #2, Rise of Skywalker #2. Check that out. Go to your local comic book shop and pick those up. Until then, Chris, happy reading.